Welcome to the My Raggedy Herbs podcast. This podcast is for truth seekers, homesteaders, homemakers, and medicine makers who are eager to roll up their sleeves and learn how to make their relationship with God, their family, and their home their first priority. Now here's Lori Coates.
Did you know that since 1992, April is recognized as Stress Awareness Month? Stress is one of those words like tired and depressed that are common descriptors but serious conditions and should not be taken lightly. These are conditions that can also be difficult to resolve since they are broad and many times are made up of many layers. I'm no psychologist, just a gardener, but I do know this. The steps to solving any problem are always the same. First, you must identify it. Then you must be able to accurately define it. And finally, you need to develop a plan to deal with it. According to a recent Gallup poll, 2020 was officially the most stressful year in recent history, with a record high 40% of adults worldwide saying they experienced a lot of stress the previous day. This 5% point jump from 35% in 2019 represents nearly 190 million more people globally who experienced a lot of stress. When Gallup asked their participants to define stress, here's what they said. Generally, they explained it as a negative emotion, using words such as problems, difficult, anger, bad, and anxious. However, people also said words like overthinking, boredom, powerlessness, and aging. Considering this, I am taken back to the lessons of one of my college Sunday school teachers. She used to tell us that we shouldn't go around saying all the time that we were stressed and tired and depressed. Instead, determine why we felt that way and ask God to intervene. She suggested that every time we were going to use one of those three words, that we replaced it with positive words that showed how God was helping us deal with the issue and change the narrative. It may sound silly, and I'm not downplaying the seriousness of these conditions, but can you imagine the positive impact on our lives if we would shift our thinking to truly believe that we are blessed, not stressed? Because our God, whom we serve, is able to do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine and is in total control. Ephesians 3:20 and 21. Can you see how it makes sense to follow the words of I'm tired with I need to go to bed earlier and rest more? It stops our blame shifting and places the responsibility in our own hands to care for our earthly bodies that God so wonderfully created for us. Philippians 4:13. It's very difficult to be depressed when you're looking into the eyes of Jesus. You see his sacrifice on the cross and realize the scope of his love. Literally, earthly concerns melt at the foot of the cross. John 3:16. God wants each of us not only to be physically healthy, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually whole. Everyone must find their own way of doing this. And for me, it's in the garden with the bugs, the berries, and the hummingbirds, and even with the wind. The garden may not be your spot, but I hope you find a spot that is quiet and beautiful and living, a place where God meets with you and you develop a friendship with him. A spot where you can change your vocabulary to be blessed, rested, and joyful. As Americans, we have an insatiable desire for things. We feel like if we're moving, we're going somewhere. Let me encourage you to slow down, appreciate what you have, and just be. Silence the voice for more and simplify. Learn to like what does not cost much. Learn to like reading, conversation, and music. Learn to like plain food, plain service, plain cooking. Learn to like people even those who may be very different from you. Learn to shelter your family with love, comfort, and peace. Learn to keep your wants simple. Refuse to be owned and anchored by things and opinions of others. Learn to like the sunrise and the sunset, the beating of the rain on your roof and windows, the gentle fall of snow in the winter. Learn to hold heaven near and dear. Learn to love God, for He surely loves you. Return to your rest, O my soul, for the Lord has dealt generously with you. Psalms 116:7.
The gardening information presented in this podcast is based on USDA Plant Hardiness Zone 7 for Central Oklahoma. Nothing in this podcast or on our website should be construed as medical advice. Consult your healthcare provider for your individual nutritional and medical needs. The information presented is based on our own research and is strictly that of the author and not necessarily those of any professional group or entity. For more information, please visit myraggedyherbs.com.